All right, anybody else? Brooke, 1491, excerpt. You feel like reading something? Brandon? Steve? You're looking? Okay. All right, I'm going to be those people. The tsunagi in Japanese, it means a person who kind of links between one person and the next. As a pause, as a filler. So you guys tell me when you find something, okay? Or anybody else? I want to keep what?
Get off the stage!
You come up here.
No!
Those people want to boo have to come up on stage and say something. Once you have given up the ghost, everything follows with dead certainty, even in the midst of chaos. From the beginning, it was never anything but chaos. It was fluid which enveloped me, which I breathed in through the gills and the substrata, where the moon shone steady and opaque, and it was smooth and fecundating. Above, it was a Django and a discord. In everything, I quickly saw the opposite, the contradiction. In between the real and the unreal, the irony, the paradox. I was my own worst enemy. There was nothing I wished to do which I could just not do. Even as a child, when I'd like for nothing, I wanted to die. I wanted to surrender because I saw no sense in struggling. I felt that nothing would be proved, substantiated, added, or subtracted by continuing an existence which I had not asked for. Everybody around me was a failure, or if not a failure, ridiculous, especially the successful ones. The successful ones bored me to tears. I was sympathetic to a fault, but it was not sympathy that made me so. It was a purely negative quality, a weakness which blossomed at the mere sight of human misery. I never helped anyone expecting that it would do any good. I helped because I was helpless to do otherwise. To want to change the condition of affairs seemed futile to me. Nothing would be altered, I was convinced, except by a change of heart. And who could change the hearts of man? Now and then a friend was converted. It was something to make me puke. I had no more need of God than he had of me. If there were one, I often said to myself, I would meet him calmly and spit in his face. You guys found the selection, the passage? Good? Okay. Brooke is going to come up next. Give it up for Brooke.
Hello. So I'm a history major and I'm all about like spreading history. And I've been reading this book called 1491. And so it's kind of about like what was going on in North America and South America before Europeans came. And the excerpt I'm going to read is, which some of you might already know this. I didn't really, so it's kind of cool to me. But it's like when Pizarro came to the Inca Empire and like just slaughtered them all. But here's an excerpt from it. No matter how many times what happened next has been recounted, it has not lost its power to shock. How the curious Atahualpa, who is the current Inca emperor, decided to wait for the stranger's party to arrive. How Pizarro, for it was he, persuaded Atahualpa to visit the Spaniards in the central square of Cajamarca, which was surrounded on three sides by long, empty buildings. How on November 16, 1532, the emperor-to-be came to Cajamarca in his gilded and feather-decked litter, preceded by a squadron of liveried men who swept the ground and followed by 5,000 or 6,000 troops, almost all of whom bore only ornamental parade-type weapons. How Pizarro hid his horses and cannons just within the building linings in the town square, where 168 Spanish awaited Inca with such fear. Pedro Pizarro noted that many made water without knowing it out of sheer terror. How a Spanish priest presented Atahualpa with a travel-stained Christian breviary, which the Inca, to whom it literally meant nothing, impatiently threw it aside, providing the Spanish with a legal fig leaf for an attack. How the Spanish, firing cannons, wearing armor, and mounted on horses, none of which the Indians have ever seen, suddenly charged into the square. How the Indians were so panicked by the smoke and fire and steel and charging animals that in trying to flee, hundreds trampled each other to death. how the Spanish took advantage of the soldiers' lack of weaponry to kill almost all the rest, how the native troops who recovered from their initial surprise desperately clustered around Atahualpa, supporting his litter with their shoulders even after the Spanish broadswords sliced off their hands, how Pizarro personally dragged down the emperor-to-be and hustled him through the heaps of bodies on the square to what would become his prison. And that's it. I just thought it was cool.
All right, I can feel the vibration from that particular corner. This man is walking up to the stage. The man who has nothing but words in his hands, words that's going to sparkle and turn this whole place into dust, right? And he's looking at those words, those pages. And of course, this is Stephen Lynch. You ready, my man? All right, let's go.
Okay, so this is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, and I never read it in high school or middle school, somehow missed it. So I've been reading it lately, and this is just a short passage. He was on the subway. I'm numb, he thought. When did the numbness really begin in my face? In my body? The night I kicked the pill bottle in the dark, like kicking a buried mine. The numbness will go away, he thought. It'll take time, but I'll do it. Or Faber will do it for me. Someone, somewhere, will give me back the old face and the old hands the way they were. Even the smile, he thought. The old burnt-in smile. That's gone. I'm lost without it. The subway fled past him. Cream tile, jet black, cream tile, jet black, numerals in darkness. More darkness, and the total adding itself. Once as a child he had sat upon a yellow dune by the sea in the middle of the blue and hot summer day, trying to fill a sieve with sand, because some cruel cousin had said, "Fill this sieve and you'll get a dime." And the faster he poured, the faster it sifted through with a hot whispering. His hands were tired, the sand was boiling, and the sieve was empty. Seated there in the mist of July, without a sound, he felt the tears move down his cheeks. Now as the vacuum underground rushed him through the dead cellars of town, jolting him, he remembered the terrible logic of that sieve, and he looked down and saw that he was carrying the Bible open. There were people in the suction train, but he held the book in his hands, and the silly thought came to him. If you read fast and read all, maybe some of the sand will stay in the sieve. But he read, and the words fell through, and he thought, in a few hours, there will be Beatty, and here will be me handing this over. So no phrase must escape me. Each line must be memorized. I will myself to do it. He clenched the book in his fist. Trumpets blared. Denham's dentrifice. Shut up, thought Montag, considering the lilies of the field. Denham's dentrifice. They toil not. Denham's. Consider the lilies of the field. Shut up, shut up. Dentrifice. He tore the book open and flicked the pages, and fell at them as if he were blind. He picked up the shape of the individual letters, not blinking. Denham's, spelled D-E-N. They toil not. Neither do they. A fierce whisper of hot sand through empty sieve. Denham's does it. Consider the lilies, the lilies, the lilies. Denham's dental detergent. Shut up, shut up, shut up! It was a plea, a cry so terrible that Montag found himself on his feet. The shocked inhabitants of the loud car staring, moving back from this man with the insane, gorged face, the gibbering, dry mouth, the flapping book in his fist. The people had been sitting a moment before, tapping their feet to the rhythm of Denham's dentrifice, Denham's dandy dental detergent, Denham's dentrifice, 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 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. The people whose mouths had been faintly twitching the words, dentrifice, dentrifice, dentrifice. The train radio vomited upon Montag. In retaliation, a great ton-load of music made of tin, copper, silver, chromium, and brass. The people were pounded into submission. They did not run. There was no place to run. The great air train fell down its shaft in the earth. Lilies of the field. Denham's. Lilies, I said. The people stared. Call the guard. The man's off. Knoll view. The train hissed to its stop. Knoll view, a cry. Denham's, a whisper. Montag's mouth barely moved. Lilies. The train door whistled open. Montag stood. The door gasped, started shut. Only then did he leap past the other passengers, screaming in his mind, plunged through the slicing door only in time. He ran on the white tiles up through the tunnels, ignoring the escalators because he wanted to feel his feet move. Arms swing, lungs clench, unclench, feel his throat go raw with air. A voice drifted after him. Denims, denims, denims. The train hissed like a snake. The train vanished in its hole.